It's like a lexicon. 10 billion logic functions, maybe more. They make me pick the paper off the floor. Solitary, solenoid, terminally paranoid Marvin. Know what really makes me mad? They clean me with a Brillo pad. A car wash wouldn't be so bad. Life, don't talk to me about life. I'm so depressed I could expectorate. My moving parts are in a solid state. I want to rust in peace, switch off and lie in that great junkyard in the sky. Solitary, solenoid, terminally paranoid Marvin. Nothing left to be enjoyed, every diode rheumatoid Marvin. Outer alloy, inner void Marvin. Happiness has been destroyed.
Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River. Life is old there, older than the trees, younger than the mountains, growing like a breeze. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home, country roads. All my memories gather round her, miner's lady, stranger to blue water. Dark and dusty, painted on the sky, misty taste of moonshine, teardrop in my eye. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home, country roads. I hear her voice in the morning hours, she calls me. The radio reminds me of my home far away. Driving down the road I get a feeling that I should have been home yesterday, yesterday. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home, country roads, country roads, take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia.
On a mountain in Virginia stands a lonesome pine. Just below is the cabin home of a little girl of mine. Her name is June, and very, very soon she'll belong to me. For I know she's waiting there for me 'neath that lone pine tree. In the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia, on the trail of the lonesome pine. In the pale moonshine, our hearts entwine, where she carved her name and I carved mine. Oh June, just like the mountains are blue, like the pine. I am lonesome for you. In the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia, on the trail of the lonesome pine.
In the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia, on the trail of the lonesome pine. In the pale moonshine, our hearts entwine, where she carved her name and I carved mine. Oh June, like the mountains I'm blue, like the pine, I am lonesome for you.
In the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia, on the trail of the lonesome pine.
Make me a deal and make it straight. Oh, sign and seal, I take it. To Robert Lee, I show it. I hope that you don't blow it, 'cause we've been around a long time. It's time to try to make the big time. Take me on a roller coaster. Take me for an airplane ride. Take me for a 6-day window, but don't you pull my ride side by side. Don't you wheel and make me feel. Baby James in Acapulco, we are flying down to Rio. Throw me a line, I'm sinking fast, clutching the stars, can't make it. Havana sound, we're trying, harder to hit, still driving for. Lost picture shows down the driving. You're so sheer, you're so chic, to the world who love we. Ladies of the mountain streamline, midnight blue casino floors. Dance the cha-cha through till sunrise. Opens up exclusive doors for wow. Just like the windows look the same. So me and you, just we two, got to search for something new.
Number 1.
Ooh, oh,
It's your last chance to walk away.
no. It's all going so smoothly up until the very moment that it started, and then it was a disaster. Hi everybody, it's 8 o'clock. It's a Tuesday. We are vanishing into the second peak as we speak, and that means it's time for the Quizcazoatl Publess Pub Quiz. As I'm sure the vast majority of you know by now, Quizcazoatl Publess Pub Quiz is a quiz in 4 rounds. We have a first round, a combination of trivia and picture questions. Second music round, then on to more trivia and pictures, and we finish with a wipeout. If you would like to compete against our reigning Quizcazoatl Publess Pub Quiz champions, Panic at the Tesco Express, tough! They have had to quit while they're ahead. No more panic. However, if you would like to compete against all of the other teams who didn't win last time, then go to bit.ly/quizcazoatl_answers. You should be able to find that link on the Facebook page or on the YouTube channel page. And submit an answer form at the end of round 1. Do please pick a team name and use it the same for every round. And if you are willing to do some marking, which helps me a lot, do please give me an email address of someone who will be willing to mark another team for me. Anyway, that is probably as much quadmin as we need right up front. We'll come back with a couple more details later. Well, except of course to say that you should also go and download the picture sheet. It is available, I believe, Quizcazoatl. Hang on, what am I saying? bit.ly/quizcazoatl_pictures. And again, you ought to be able to find that link on the YouTube page, on the Facebook page, or indeed at the top of the answer form. So, without further ado, let us get on to question 1. And we are asking, a third person getting in the way of a romantic couple is sometimes referred to as which fruit? A third person getting in the way of a romantic couple is sometimes referred to as which fruit? Okay, I gather that some of our regulars are having a little bit of trouble joining today for absolutely no obvious reason, so I may have to repeat a couple of these questions again in a minute, but let us plough through to question 2 regardless. And for question 2, I'm asking you, the last round in an episode of Countdown is a 9-letter anagram referred to as the Countdown what? The last round in an episode of Countdown is a 9-letter anagram referred to as the Countdown what? And seeing as that's the sort of one that you probably either know or will struggle to guess, we might as well push through to our first picture question as well. And picture 1, we have 6 Matts. Can you give the surnames of the 6 Matts pictured? Okay, and just for our latecomers, I will repeat those first two questions we had again. So question 1, we asked, a third person getting in the way of a romantic couple is sometimes referred to as which fruit? A third person getting in the way of a romantic couple is sometimes referred to as which fruit? That was question 1. And question 2, I know for a fact that our latecomers know the answer to this one. The last round in an episode of Countdown is a 9-letter anagram referred to as the countdown what? Okay, now everyone has hopefully caught up. We can also ask who... That was more difficult than I expected. Let's try that again. Who holds the record for the oldest person to have a UK #1 single? That is oldest at time of release. We're not looking for someone with a hit single in 1947 who is still clinging on. So I do have a couple of listeners having trouble with the stream. If anyone else is, perhaps could you let me know through the comment thread? I'm not exactly sure what I could do about it, but it would be useful to know that it was a problem at my end rather than theirs. Failing that, let's just go straight to question 5 anyway. And we are going to ask, what is the largest town and the capital of the Isle of Man? What is the largest town and the capital of the Isle of Man? Also, someone pointed out that I have WhatsApp and I forgot to mute it. So all of the complaints about not being able to get the stream have been generating a lot of bings for everyone else, for which I apologise. Okay, so Eric has asked for a repeat of the first couple of questions, so we will just go back over those. Of course, question 3 is on the pictures, which you can just go back to in your own time anyway. And if you ever do miss something or want it repeated, you can rewind the YouTube stream. Just remember to catch up with us again afterwards. So question 1 was, a third person getting in the way of a romantic couple is sometimes referred to as which fruit? Question 2, the last round in an episode of Countdown is a 9-letter anagram referred to as the countdown what? And let's see, hang on, I also have someone wanting to know how to do answers, so I'm just going to deal with that for a second. Okay, then let's go. So as I say, question 3 was the first of the pictures. So have a look at the first picture on your picture sheet for that one. For anyone new, I should also point out that in the Quizcazoatl publess pub quiz, unless otherwise stated, we give 1 point per answer. So picture 1 has 6 faces, I think. That means 6 points available. I will also take the opportunity to remind us all, especially when you come to the marking, this is not a spelling test and is not even an ordering test. So be generous when marking if people have got some spellings a little bit heterodox or if they have got stuff in an odd order. Anyway, question 4, we asked who holds the record for the oldest person to have a UK #1 single. That is age at the time of release that we're looking at. And finally, to catch everyone up with ourselves, question 5 was what is the largest town and the capital of the Isle of Man? Okay, with a little bit of luck, everyone is running together again so we can get to our second picture question. For our second picture, we are on to some set theory. I know we all love it. We're on to the Venn diagrams. We have 3 question marks there and an example on the left. On our example, we see up top a list of planets, or equally Roman gods, if you prefer. At the bottom, we have a list of chocolate bars. What could fit into both of those lists? It is, of course, Mars, god of nougat. Anyway, so we have 3 more. Can you find the missing item that fits into both the list at the top and the list at the bottom? 3 points available. On to question 7 next, and we are asking which gas is a waste product of photosynthesis? Which gas is a waste product of photosynthesis? And question 8. What is the Spanish for devil, and also, presumably named by an Extinction Rebellion activist, the name of a model of Lamborghini? What is the Spanish name for the Spanish word for devil, and also the name of a model of Lamborghini? So there is question 8 up again. I know Rich was asking for it. And then in a moment we'll go to picture 3. Okay, question 9 takes us to picture 3. We have 6 images there. All of the answers start with P, R, O. Can you work out what we are talking about? 6 pictures, 6 pros, 6 points available. Now, a lesser man would have muted slightly after he cleared his throat. Anyway, on to question 10, and we are asking which magazine, not which magazine, maybe it is which magazine, it could be one of those answers in the question ones, couldn't it? Which magazine has been edited by Anna Wintour since 1988? Of course, if the answer is which magazine, that would mean that the actual answer would be yes. Question 10. Which magazine has been edited by Anna Wintour since 1988? Okay, let us also get on to question 11. We ask, which company is the main sponsor of the Sky Sports show Soccer Saturday? It's presumably some sort of match of the day for people who have satellite dishes. I wouldn't know. But which company is the main sponsor of the Sky Sports show Soccer Saturday? And with a little bit of luck, in a minute we are also going to go to our T-shirt tiebreak for last week's Spot Prize winners. So that's something to look forward to as well. Okay, as our regulars know, we have 2 Spot Prize questions every week and the chance to win a limited edition, not available in the shops, Quizcazoatl Publess Pub Quiz T-shirt. Last week, our Spot Prize winners were Blinky, who is... is it possible for you to lean your camera down, Blinky? For reasons that aren't worth going into, there we are, your head was a bit low. And let's see whether Anne actually has the rest of Blinky. So there we are. My screen has changed size since the last time we did this, and my windows are not quite in the right place, but we will work around it. Well done. This means the bottom half of Blinky is on Anne's team this week, controversially.
Oh, how could it?
Anyway, so as normal, I am going to give you 3 events and I'm going to ask you to tell me in which year these events happened. If you think you know, just butt on in there and shout the answer out. Whoever goes first, I will give you plus or minus, let's say 7 years either way this week. Whoever goes second, I will give you plus or minus 3 years. So, without any ado of any sort, event number 1, the first ever issue of the Beano was published. Okay. Event number 2, the radio adaptation of The War of the Worlds was broadcast, causing panic in the United States. So we've got the Beano, we've got the Orson Welles, I think. Do I mean Orson Welles? War of the Worlds. And finally, Sir Terry Wogan, he of the Eurovision and the Breakfast Show, was born. So first edition of the Beano, adaptation of the War of the Worlds, and the birth of Terry Wogan.
1938.
1938, Anne. That is not just within 7 years. It's not even just within 5 years. That is spot on. Well played. That means that Rachel and Stuart's baby, who Anne was playing for, is going to get her very own, really, really limited edition, certainly not available in the shops, Quizcazottl's Publess Pub Quiz Baby Grow. Well played,
Brilliant.
Anne. Bad luck, Blinky. There'll be another spot prize
Thank
question in a
you.
moment. Maybe you can have better luck next week.
Next week.
I thought Terry Wogan's a similar age to Mum. Then I thought, no, he's a bit younger, or would have been a bit younger. So
There we are. Well, you got it just spot on. All right, team. Good luck with the rest of the quiz,
Thank
and
you.
we will see you later.
bye.
Okay, well played to Auntie Anne. Anyway, back to the main event for everyone else. And question 12 takes us to the fourth of our pictures. So, picture 4. We have got some robots to identify. My arm is out. There we go. We have got some robots to identify. 5 robots I see. Anyone who was tuned in very early, there was a little bit of a clue, not particularly well hidden, before the quiz started as well. And a repeat for Rich of question 11. Which company is the main sponsor of the Sky Sports show Soccer Saturday? Which company is the main sponsor of the Sky Sports show Soccer Saturday? Okay, now anyone who liked the look of the t-shirt competition, or indeed likes the look of the t-shirt, and fine t-shirts they are too, this is one of your many chances to win one. Now it's the spot prize question. So for anyone new, for the spot prize questions, you are allowed to enter as an individual. In general, we think of your team as a sort of Borg collective speaking with one voice, but here you may speak with many voices to try and answer our question. Send your answers to me either quizcazoatl@gmail.com or using the messenger service on Facebook, or any other way you think you can get my attention, but I always guarantee to read the Facebook and Gmail entries. So, whoever gets nearest will, beg my pardon, whoever gets nearest to the answer will have a chance to play in the t-shirt tiebreaker next week against the winner of the second spot prize that'll come through in round 2. If you manage to get both spot prize answers in the same week, which has been done before, then you will be an automatic t-shirt winner. So that is something to look forward to. Anyway, our question is, according to an article by The Guardian, not according to the actual truth, not like we could be bothered to look it up in Hansard, according to The Guardian, what was the exact date that the law banning corporal punishment, caning and so forth, in case you were wondering, came into effect in independent English schools? So it was a different year for the independent sector than the state sector, but according to the Manchester Guardian, what was the exact date on which the law banning corporal punishment came into effect? So give me that day, month, year, and I will have a look through, and sometime round or round about question 17, I will announce a spot prize winner. Okay, while you all muse on the last time that you legally spanked Eton boy, I will give you question 13. And question 13 asks us, who is the newly elected leader of the Liberal Democrats? A man destined probably not to be, or man or woman I should say, destined not to be Prime Minister or Deputy Prime Minister or Minister. One would imagine, but you never know, do you? If there's one thing that Nick Clegg showed us, it's that you never know. And just the surname will be fine. Who is the newly elected leader of the Liberal Democrats? Okay, let's keep moving along, and I'll give you question 14. It's our fifth picture question. Now this one harks back to those halcyon days of the early 2000s, where you could mash your phone with your palm and hitting the numbers would produce a word. I remember explaining at great length to people in the Tesco canteen that predictive text didn't mean it would know what the word was before you typed it. A misleading concept then, as it is anachronistic now. Anyway, we have two sets of numbers. Can you turn them into two words that would go before the word holiday? 2 points available. We've had a few spot prize answers in. I am afraid, Elon, it's still not quite your time to shine. You have underestimated the barbarity of the British private state interface. Anyone else? You've still got a couple of minutes to have a pot shot. In the meantime, I will give you question 15. What speed... What piece of sporting equipment, usually made with feathers, is sometimes referred to as the bird or birdie? Okay, let's go to question 16. And who wrote the poem If? first published in 1910? Who wrote the poem If, first published in 1910? Okay, now is the absolute last chance to get in your guess for the last date, the date on which corporal punishment became illegal in independent schools. Otherwise, I am looking over the guesses. Most of you have underestimated the barbarity of the British state, and I will let you know our first spot prize winner very, very shortly. And we had a request for question 13. That was the newly elected leader of the Liberal Democrats. Surname only would be fine. It's half of a name more than you need. Okay, question 17, our next question, and that takes us... Oh, hang on, that's the wrong one, isn't it? What have I done there? Oh, there we are, okay. So question 17 should be picture 6, and we have 4 logos for you to identify. Friendly little critters all, except the one on the right looks like a badly drawn French horn. Can you identify the companies, brands or organisations represented by these 4 logos? Okay, so back to the spot prize. So we asked, what was the date, according to The Guardian, the exact date that the law banning corporal punishment came into effect in independent English schools? The answer, many of you may be disgusted to know, was the 1st of September 1999. So Michael, I think, had 79. Alon and Fiona in the early 80s. We had a bunch of the Midway Kings stuck in the 80s. Blinky and Tony, both perennial spot prize successes. Both went for 1993. Sheila went for 2016. I'm afraid that you overshot. So 1993 was the closest. Blinky went for February. Tony went for July. Seeing as it was September, that means Tony will be back on your screens next week for the spot prize question. Although, as ever, if you think that you gave me a better answer than Tony's July 1993 and I ignored you, give me a prod and I will consider revising. Anyway, Let's see whether we can get to the end of round 1. We're certainly coming up on it. And question 18, we're asking, where is the structure known as the new safe confinement? Where is the structure known as the new safe confinement? I think I saw that in an episode of Thunderbirds, but I could be wrong. Okay, question 19 is the last of our pictures for this half. Picture 7, we have 4 sprightly young things, all of whom were born in the same year. I am asking you to tell me the year and all 4 names. It does say on the sheet plus or minus 1 year, 2 for exact. We can never be bothered giving the bonus point for the exact year, so we are just going to give 4 points for 4 names and 1 point if you can get the year plus or minus 1 either way. Now, so we're coming up to the end of round 1. I'll give you question 20 in a couple of minutes. Make sure that you've filled everything in on your Google form answer sheets. You cannot go back after you submit it. I'll give you about 5 minutes after I read question 20 as an opportunity to get another drink, take a comfort break, any of that sort of thing. And after that, we will be straight back and into the music round. So you do need to submit those round 1 answer sheets at the very latest as the music round starts. If you are new to the quiz, be aware when you click submit, it will give you a new link to open your music round answer sheet. So do be sure to click through and to use the same team name for both rounds. Okay, here comes question 20, the end of round 1. It is topical in a manner of speaking, insofar as it's about horrible diseases. And what infectious viral disease is also known as grip? What infectious viral disease is also known as grip? What a lovely way to finish the round. Anyway. As I say, I'm going to give you a 5-minute timer in a moment. Use that to finish your round 1 answers, but ideally also to take a moment, refill your mug, anything else you need to do. After that, we'll be back with the music round. Oh, and if there's anyone wants anything else repeated, although I feel like I've repeated most questions at least once this week, now is the time to ask. For the Midway Kings, question 11, we asked which company is the main sponsor of the Sky Sports show Soccer Saturday? I also had an ask for question 18. Where is the structure known as the new safe confinement? Where is the structure known as the new safe confinement? Okay, that is the end of the counter. And that means that it is time for us to move on to the music round. So, if you haven't already, get those round 1 forms submitted and click through to your music round form. Now, for the Quizcazoatl music round, we are going to play you 6 songs straddling the decades. 1 from the 60s, 1 from the 70s, 1 from the 80s, 1 from the 90s, 1 from the noughties, and 1 from the tenties. Nobody knows anything from the new 20s, so we just don't bother. And we will ask you to name both the song title and the artist for all of these. That means there are 2 points available per song for a total of 12 points available for the round. I'm going to play the music once. I will give you a minute to think about it and discuss it, and then I will play it again. All of those of you who have been kind enough to give an email address for marking, I will be looking to get the round 1 marking links out during the second play of the music. So do, round about the end of that second play of the music round, have a look at your email and open the marking links. We will go on from the music to the round 1 marking. Hope that's all clear. Here comes some music.
As I walk this land of broken dreams, I have visions of many things. More loneliness any man could bear. Rescue me before I fall into despair. I'll send an SOS to the world. I'll send an SOS to the world. I hope that someone gets mine. I hope that someone gets mine.
Everybody's always talking about who's on top. Don't cross our path, cause you're gonna get stopped. We ain't gonna give anybody any slack. And if you try to keep us down, we're gonna come right back.
It's like rain on your wedding day. It's a free ride on your already paid. It's the good advice
it next. We got 5 minutes for us to disconnect from all intellect and let the rhythm affect us to lose our inhibition. Follow your intuition, free your inner soul and break away from tradition. Cause when we be out, girl, it's pulling breathe out. You wouldn't believe how we wow shit out. We burn it till it's burned out, turn it till it's turned out. Act up from Northwest East style. Everybody, everybody.
No, I know that I'm not all that you got. I guess that I just thought maybe we could find new ways to fall apart. But our friends are back, so let's raise a toast. Cause I found someone to carry me home tonight.
Okay, hopefully you got most of those. Maybe another play will jog the old memory though. So here we go, a music round one more time. And markers, I'm about to hit go for the marking links, so don't forget to check your inboxes.
Land of broken dreams, I have visions of many things. More loneliness any man could bear. Rescue me before I fall into despair. I'll send an SOS to the world. I'll send an SOS to the world. I hope that someone gets mine. I hope that someone gets mine.
Everybody's always talking about who's on top. Don't cross our path, cause you're gonna get stopped. We ain't gonna give anybody any slack. And if you try to keep us down, we're gonna come right back.
It's like rain on your wedding day. It's a free ride on your already paid. It's the good advice that you just can't take. And who would have thought it figures? Life is fun, boy. I'm singing about your wedding.
In this context, there's no disrespect, so when I bust my rhyme, you break your necks. We got 5 minutes for us to disconnect from all intellect and let the rhythm affect us to lose our inhibition. Follow your intuition, free your inner soul and break away from tradition. Cause when we be out, girl, it's pulling breathe out. You wouldn't believe how we wow shit out. We burn it till it's burned out, turn it till it's turned out. Act up from Northwest East style. Everybody, everybody.
No, I know that I'm not all that you got. I guess that I just thought maybe we could find new ways to fall apart. But our friends are back, so let's raise a toast. Cause I found someone
Okay, that was the music. Get your answers finalised. I am about to take us through the round 1 marking. In extremis, you can have someone marking round 1 and continue the music round discussion. But you need to get the answers submitted absolutely at the latest by the end of the round 1 marking, because we will be going straight into round 2. So, markers. Getting your emails, click those answer links. Hopefully all the answer sheets are populated this week. I probably ought to check an example. Anyway, let's start let's actually check that it looks like it's all working. Looks like it's all working. Brilliant. So, question 1. A third person getting in the way of a romantic couple is sometimes referred to as a gooseberry. A gooseberry for the point for question 1. The last round in an episode of Countdown is a 9-letter anagram referred to as the Countdown Conundrum, which is, of course, also a 9-letter word. 1 point for conundrum. On to question 3, and we had a bunch of Matts. They were Matt LeBlanc, or Matt LeBlanc, maybe, Matt Dillon, Matt Berry, Matt Baker, Matt Dawson, and, of course, the Simpsons' very own Matt Groening. 6 points available for LeBlanc, Dillon, Berry, Baker, Dawson, and Groening. For question 4, we asked who held the record for the oldest person with a UK #1 single. It was not Vera Lynn. It is Captain Tom Moore, the man with the Walking Around the Garden NHS fundraiser. Tom Moore for the point for question 4. Question 5, what is the largest town and the capital of the Isle of Man? And that is Douglas. I don't think anyone has, but if anyone put Doolish, that is the Manx word, and Doolish would get you the point. I see that Team 3 have got their Douglas and their Captain Tom the wrong way round. So whoever is marking answer sheet 3, please be generous and let them off on that one. Question 6, we have missing items from our 3 Venn diagrams. So first one, we had things that can follow iron, plus types of window covering. So that was the curtain. For the second one, we had rivers in the Middle East and models known by mononyms, and that was Jordan. And finally, we had trident, where chewing gum meets weapons of the gods. 3 points for curtain, Jordan, and trident. Question 7, a waste product of photosynthesis. It is oxygen. You are living on plant poo, sort of. Not really. Oxygen for the point. Question 8, the Spanish for devil. Also the name of a model of Lamborghini and a thing where you throw a thing on a string with some sticks. It's Diablo. Sorry, I oohed because while I was about to say Diablo for the point on question 8. We had a question, what if someone has given 7 names for 6 people? What a conundrum that is. I think that we have to take the wrong answer first in this instance. You can't just spam it. So I'm afraid whoever gave 7 names for 6 people, they will lose an extra point for the extra name. Unless it looks like they've put one name twice. Do check they haven't just written one name twice by accident. No, I see. Yeah. So it goes. Yep, I'm afraid I think they lose a point for getting carried away with their maths. Anyway, Question 9. 6 things in picture 3, beginning with a P-R-O. First off, we had Prozac. Then, and a bonus point for anyone who put anything truly cruel about Huddersfield University, but that is, of course, a prospectus. Then we had a proboscis, the monkey with the characterful nose. Then some profiteroles, some prosciutto ham, and pronouns, finally. 6 points available there for Prozac, prospectus, proboscis, profiterole, prosciutto, and pronouns. Question 10. Which magazine has been edited by Anna Wintour since 1988? No, it hasn't. She edits Vogue. Vogue, or US Vogue, if you want to be specific, for the point there. Question 11. Which company is the sponsor of the Sky Sports show Soccer Saturday? That is Gillette. Gillette for the point. It is well and truly an adequate razor if you want to cut your hair off. Question 12. We had 5 films to name. Robot featuring films. What did we have? We had The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, as characterized by Marvin the Android. We had Star Wars, as characterized by R2-D2. We had The Iron Giant, The Terminator, and finally our very own He's Alive. He's number 5. Number 5 is alive in Short Circuit. Johnny 5, I suppose, properly. What do we have there? So 5 points for The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I did play the Marvin A-side song from, I think, 89, very, very early before the quiz started, if anyone was listening. Then Star Wars, The Iron Giant, The Terminator, and Short Circuit. Question 13. Who is the newly elected leader of the Liberal Democrats, soon to be the outgoing leader of the Liberal Democrats? That is Ed Davey, or Sir Ed Davey, if you want to be respectful, or Davey, if you want to address him like a private school tutor looking for a caning subject. Question 14. We had 2 predictive texts, words that can come before holiday, and they were beach and Billy. Beach and Billy for the points. I think everyone got that. What piece of sporting equipment, for question 15, made with feathers, is sometimes usually made with feathers? It's probably technically incorrect these days, isn't it? Because a lot of those things are plastic. But anyway, usually made with feathers, sometimes referred to as the bird. It is a shuttlecock. Question 13. Yes, you definitely give a point for last name only. That was specified in the question. So Davy is enough. If it looks like when they wrote Davy, they thought it was his first name, I'm going to have to leave that with you to discern. Question 16. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and not getting your Quizcazoatl publess pub quiz publess t-shirt, not get all cross, then you have been reading Rudyard Kipling. Rudyard Kipling for the point. Question 17. We had 4 logos to go at, and they were Singapore Airlines. Was that a bunny rabbit? Something like that. Oh no, hang on. The rabbit was last. What was Singapore Airlines? I've forgotten now. Anyway, Singapore Airlines. Then the kangaroo for Kangol. The bunny was TaskRabbit, and the brass instrument was Deutsche Post. We had Singapore Airlines. So it got a birdie. That makes sense for an airline. Singapore Airlines, Kangol, TaskRabbit, and Deutsche Post for 4 points. Question 18. Where is the structure known as the new safe confinement? That is at Chernobyl nuclear power plant. If anyone has put the number 4 reactor unit, they are paying too much attention to Chernobyl. Question 19. we had 4 people and the year that they were all born. So first off on the left, we had a sometime romantic partner of Johnny Depp, Amber Heard. Then Alfie Allen, the much abused Game of Thrones character. Colleen Rooney Nay McLaughlin. And finally, we had Jamie Bell. And they were all born in 1986. So you get the point if you have anything from 1985 to 1987. And finally, what is the grip? It is the flu. And no doubt we are heading into a relatively benign flu season because everyone is too busy hiding from COVID to catch it. Jane has asked whether they can have a point for United Airlines, and of course, if anyone ever writes United Airlines, dock a point from them. Anyway, 45 points were available there. Thank you as ever to our markers, and having got that done, it is time to get straight through to round 2. And round 2 starts with Sex Fun Galore. I know it's what you're all looking for from the Quizcazoatl Publess Pub Quiz. However, it isn't a promise, it's an anagram. Sex Fun Galore, it's the name of a famous man. SEXFUNGALORE. The answer to question 18 for, who was asking, Rich, was Chernobyl. It's at Chernobyl nuclear power plant. A power plant? Sounds exciting. The power plant has the new safe confinement. And I'll let you stew on that anagram for a little longer. In the meantime, I'll give you question 2. And we're asking, which country is home to Asahi Lager? Which country is home to Asahi Lager? Okay, now I know that there was much rejoicing when it was announced that Panic at the Tesco Express have retired as one of the more dominant members of the Quizcazoatl Publess Pub Quiz community. But they did win last week, and that means that we are giving them one last chance to win a team t-shirt. That is not, of course, a t-shirt big enough for 5 people with 10 arms. It's one t-shirt for them to all fight over. Anyway, we have Kat on the line, so we're not going to the video. I am, however, going to give Kat this question, which I appear to have lost. Bear with me a moment. I'm going to give Kat this question. This is for Kat and the gang at Panic at the Tesco Express only, so anyone else, don't bother writing in. Now, according to Wikipedia, there are 2,653 Tesco stores in the UK, and that is not including branches of One Stop. How many of those are Tesco Expresses? I'm going to give Panic at the Tesco Express plus or minus 10% either way to get that. So you have about 30 seconds to discuss, gang. Okay, I have my answer, and I've been slightly outwitted. I was fishing for a numerical answer, and of course, having offered plus or minus 10%, I have been given a percentage answer, which means I have to do a quick bit of division to check whether they're within range. Divided by 2,653. The answer that I was looking for was 1,740 Tesco Expresses. That comes out at 66%. So, Panic at the Tesco Express with a guess of 60%. You are correct. Well played. You are going to have one last bit of limited edition not available in the stores. Quizcazottl's Publess Pub Quiz memorabilia winging its way to you. And thank you for being such great contestants. Anyway, we should give everyone else a question to run at as well. And we are heading back to the pictures next. So picture 8, the first picture of round 2, we have some missing names from TV programme titles. So we have a word. There should be one or two other words next to it to make the title of a TV show. Can you work out the name which is missing? Okay, question 4. In a reference to rocket fuel, what is LOX, pronounced LOX, don't know how useful that is, short for? In reference to a rocket fuel, what is LOX, LOX, short for? Question 5 next. It has been pointed out that I pronounce prosciutto a bit like Kosciuszko from the Midnight Oil song. So there you go. Anyway, question 5 of round 2. What type of glass normally holds about 1.4 litres? In my house, it's a wine glass, but don't think that's the answer we're going for. Is about 90 centimetres long, with a bulb at the bottom and a widening shaft. Frankly, this question is a bit much after Sex Fun Galore. Clearly, the question setters have been having a long lockdown. Anyway, what type of glass normally holds about 1.4 litres, is about 90 centimetres long, with a bulb at the bottom and a widening shaft? Okay, and that is as good a time as any to do a little bit of a scores update and to thank Emma, who has stepped in to do the marking for one of the teams who didn't give an email address in. So thank you very much, Emma. Who have we got then? So we have, with a team name slightly longer than the cell on my sheet. Here we go. Thank God Panic at the Tesco aren't playing on 35 points. Sounds a bit hippie to me, up towards the front with 41 points. The Marauding Bloodlust on 32 points. Katrina and the Second Waves, 38 points. The Lockdown Haircuts, they're up at the front a bit as well on 40, but right at the front we have the World Health Organization on 42. Struggling for sound a bit at the beginning, the Footlins on 30. And the Midway Kings, basking in the warm glow of more not available in the shops Publess Pub Quiz memorabilia, on 37. Well played all. And we are headed back to the picture round for question 6. And our 9th picture of the quiz has some actors playing the parts of real people. So, I am asking you, can you name these 4 actors and 4 real people, and in each case indicate yes or no, did their lives overlap? So normally we say this isn't an ordering quiz, but the yeses and nos really have to be in order for this one. So please do go top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right, 2 names and then a yes no. For an extraordinary 12 points available on this question. Okay, while I frantically finally remember to change the data validation to allow more than 10 points for question 5, which has, as many of you are well aware, tripped us up for the last couple of weeks, I am also going to give you question 7. We're asking what F is a young bird that has recently left its nest but is still dependent upon parental care and feeding. It's not a millennial. What F is a young bird that has recently left its nest but is still dependent upon parental care and feeding? And question 8. Question 8 takes us to another audio question, always exciting. This time we are going to have some mystery voices. I'm going to play you 3 voices. Listen to what they sound like and listen to what they say. You'll hear them once, you'll have 30 seconds to a minute to discuss it, and then you will hear them again.
Number 1.
I don't feel like I owe an apology to anybody. An apology is something when you've done something wrong. Obviously the situation has made it difficult. I play for one of the biggest clubs in the world, so I regret putting the fans and the club through this. I did nothing wrong. I found myself in a situation where it could have happened to anybody and anywhere.
Number 2.
A lot of people are like, so how did you make yourself more cat-like? I'm like, I really didn't. It's not really about that. She's referred to as the cat, and it's something that someone else gives it to her, so it's not that she has like an inner feline side that I had to tap into or anything like that.
Number 3.
Who do you know on the national quiz circuit who's a decent player and can be a little bit scary and intimidating and confrontational? And when I went along to the first audition, I was wearing an old Soviet Army-style greatcoat. I walk in, duck under the door frame, and the first producer said, "You got the job at that point."
I was discussing that third one just before the quiz started by a strange synchronous coincidence. Anyway, I'll give you another 30 seconds, then I'll play them again.
Number 1.
I don't feel like I owe an apology to anybody. An apology is something when you've done something wrong. Obviously the situation has made it difficult. I play for one of the biggest clubs in the world, so I regret putting the fans and the club through this. I did nothing wrong. I found myself in a situation where it could have happened to anybody and anywhere.
Number 2.
A lot of people are like, so how did you make yourself more cat-like? I'm like, I really didn't. It's not really about that. She's referred to as the cat, and it's something that someone else gives it to her, so it's not that she has like an inner feline side that I had to tap into or anything like that.
Number 3.
Who do you know on the national quiz circuit who's a decent player and can be a little bit scary and intimidating and confrontational? And when I went along to the first audition, I was wearing an old Soviet Army-style greatcoat. I walk in, duck under the door frame, and the first producer said, "You got the job at that point."
Well, confrontational quiz successes, it can only be a matter of time before Cat from Panic at the Tesco Express is getting the call up as well. That aside, I'm going to move us along to question 9. In motorsport, what is drag slang for in the term drag racing? So this, not to be confused with the RuPaul version. In motorsport, what is drag slang for in the term drag racing? Now, as always, a special moment for the Quizcazoatl Publess Pub Quiz when the picture round numbers meet the real numbers. Question 10 is picture 10. We have some odd ones out here. Give the item in each of these 4 categories that is wrong. 4 points available. We have lyrics from the summer of '69. We have countries that have hosted the Men's Rugby World Cup. And we have terms for watercraft. And finally there, UK towns or villages. I see that St Ives is listed among UK towns and villages, so I'm going to give a bonus point for anyone who can tell me the name of the current mayor of St Ives. Okay, let's go to another spot prize question. So, to take on a previous spot prize winner, Tony, of the Midway Kings, can you tell me, remembering this is messages from you individually to me, closest answer wins a chance at the t-shirt tiebreak next week, according to the Premier League's website, what is the highest ever attendance for a single Premier League match? According to the website of the Premier League, it's one up on The Guardian anyway, what is the highest ever attendance for a single Premier League match? Send those in, quizcazoatl@gmail.com, through the messenger service on Facebook or any other which way you fancy. Don't write them in the comment thread or else everyone else will see it. And I'll come back to it and announce a winner round or roundabout question 17. I can tell you one of the Tims is straight out of the block with a very solid guess. So if you want to get there ahead of Tim, you are going to have to think about that one and get a pretty good guess in. Anyway, question 11 for everyone who isn't bothered for reasons which remain mysterious to me about the opportunity to win a t-shirt. What is the common English name for the biblical character famously swallowed by a giant fish or possibly by a whale? What is the common English name for the biblical character that was famously swallowed by a giant fish or a whale? Okay. We have a few pretty generously proportioned football stadia in the spot prize answers, but you've got a few questions yet if you want to put another answer in. I can tell you the early excellent answer from one of the Tims has been superseded already by a real zinger, so you will do well to beat it, but maybe you can do well to beat it. Anyway, question 12 takes us back to the pictures. Where's my pictures? There we go. Picture 11. We have got 6 acronyms and initialisms. We're asking whether you can tell us the word represented by the red letter in these acronyms and initialisms. For the top left there was a sort of a name change kerfuffle some years ago now. We are looking for the older version of what that one stands for. So the top left, the little green flower, we are looking for the older version of what those letters stand for. Okay, on to question 13. We're asking how many hurdles should each competitor jump, if they don't get lost, in an Olympic 110-metre hurdle race? How many hurdles should each competitor jump in an Olympic 110-metre hurdles? On to question 14. We had just the kernel of the beginning of this right at the start of the quiz when I played it by accident. I'm going to give you 3 film clips. You know the routine by now. I'm going to play them once. I'll give you a minute to discuss it, and then I'm going to play them again. Can you name the 3 films, not the actors, not the characters, not the scene? Name the 3 films from these 3 clips.
Number 1.
It's your last chance to walk away.
Are you kidding? It's 5 against 1.
It's 3 against 1.
How do you figure?
Once I take out the leader, which is you, I'll have to contend with 1 or 2 enthusiastic wingmen. The last 2 guys, they always run.
Oh, you done this before?
It's getting late. Remember, you wanted this.
Number 2.
Show me penthouse, side. Blacklist. Side. Yes. Show me side. Yes! Show me sand floor.
Number 3.
Once Daphne is inadvertently on board, we can then get the necklace out of the Cartier vault, hack the Met security system, thank you, Nineball, and infiltrate the gala, considered to be one of the most exclusive... The most exclusive party invitation in America. So go home, get your affairs in order, because tomorrow we begin pulling off one of the biggest jewelry heists in history.
Okay, let's have those one more time, and then we will take a quick diversion and do the music round answers.
Number 1.
It's your last chance to walk away.
Are you kidding? It's 5 against 1.
It's 3 against 1.
How do you figure?
Once I take out the leader, which is you, I'll have to contend with 1 or 2 enthusiastic wingmen. The last 2 guys, they always run.
Are you done this before?
It's getting late. Remember, you wanted this.
Number 2.
Show me penthouse, side. Blacklist. Side. Yes. Show me side. Yes! Show me sand floor.
Number 3.
Once Daphne is inadvertently on board, we can then get the necklace out of the Cartier vault, hack the Met security system, thank you, Nineball, and infiltrate the gala, considered to be one of the most exclusive... The most exclusive party invitation in America. So go home, get your affairs in order, because tomorrow we begin pulling off one of the biggest jewelry heists in history.
Okay, hope you got those. Let us just take a break. Nominated markers back to your marking sheets. Hopefully the music round should have populated by now. So, very quickly, from the 60s we have What Becomes of the Broken Hearted by Jimmy Ruffin. We had some mixed answers on that one. I think everyone's done pretty well on the music round, but not everyone knew Jimmy Ruffin. 2 points there. The next one, I think this was a little bit easier. That was Message in a Bottle, and it was The Police. No points for Sting, but no one wrote Sting, so that's okay. On into the 80s, and some teams, there's just kind of showing your age. I wouldn't have got this. Hanging Tough, New Kids on the Block. Hanging Tough by New Kids on the Block, 2 points. Into the 90s, and a pub quiz when all you need is a pub. Isn't that ironic? By Alanis Morissette. Ironic by Alanis Morissette for 2 points. Into the 2000s, we had the Black Eyed Peas with Let's Get It Started. Someone has put Let's Get Retarded / It Started. Personally, I would give them the point, but if you consider this to be inappropriate, then by all means dock away. Finally, into the 10s, we have We Are Young by Fun, which apparently everybody knew. Some people have said featuring Janelle Monáe. I have no idea how true that is. 2 of you have put it, so I guess it's probably correct, but we don't need Janelle Monáe. Fun will do. One of our new markers was asking why they didn't get a new link. The answer is that it's the same link always, so I just will push the answers through a little bit before I go over them. So if you go back to that original link, you should still see round 1 and also now see the music round. I was also asked to repeat the 60s and the 80s, so I'm just going to go through all of them one more time. It's Rich, I'm assuming that that's not true, but it would be good if it was. Anyway, so from the 60s, we had song title What Becomes of the Broken Hearted by Jimmy Ruffin. Into the 70s, we had Message in a Bottle by The Police. Into the 80s, we had Hangin' Tough with New Kids on the Block. In the 90s, Ironic, Alanis Morissette. Into the 2000s, Let's Get It Started, the Black Eyed Peas. And finally, into the 10s, We Are Young by Fun. Fun by name? Yeah. Anyway. Thank you again, everyone, for marking. Question 15 takes us back to the pictures, and we have this time paraphrased sports people. So what do we got there? 6 paraphrased sports people's surnames. Can you work them out? And it has been clarified for me that the Black Eyed Peas song really was called Let's Get Retarded, but they changed it for the radio. So, there you go. An honorary, non-existent bonus pretend point for everyone who knew that. Well played. Okay, coming to question 16, which means if you want to have a last go at the largest football attendance in the Premier League, now is the time to send your message in, or else I'm going to go to our second spot question winner in a moment. Question 16, though, we're asking, what is the currency in Greenland? What is the currency in Greenland? Okay, we are drawing in on the end of round 2, and not a moment too soon, frankly. So let's get to our penultimate picture. We have got some missing vowels in merged film titles. Can you work out what film is the and hopefully me reading them out does help. Also, seeing as this is question 17, it's time to announce our second spot prize winner. And we had some ambitious guesses. Steph went for 300,000, which is a big crowd. Emma for 200,000. A few of you were in the 100,000s. Tim came in early, around about 85,000, which was a pretty solid guess because the correct answer was 83,222. But I'm afraid, at risk of being boring, Richard with 82,500 was pipped by Blinky on 83,350, only 128 away. Next week's spot prize t-shirt tiebreak is going to be in the same houses as this week's. It's not Auntie Anne, but it's Uncle Tony versus Blinky. Well played, both. And let's push on to question 18. We're asking, diamonds are graded and categorized by 4 C's. Each stands for a different characteristic. What are the 4 C's of diamonds? Okay, I imagine a lot of you will have looked at this already, so let's queue up our very last picture on question 19. We have got 4 sets of things that happened. Can you identify the years from these 4 picture time capsules? Okay, and the final question of round 2 this week, covering an area of 117 square miles, what is England's smallest national park by area? Covering an area of only 117 square miles, what is England's smallest national park by area? Okay, as always, I am going to give you a few minutes to finish your round 2 answers. If you would like anything repeated, now is the time to ask. Otherwise, after the 3-minute countdown is over, click submit and the form will take you through to the wipeout round. Anyone who is submitting the answers for the first time, do be aware, whereas we have different forms for round 1, the music round, and round 2, technically this takes you just to the second page of your round 2 form. So you do not need to re-enter your quiz team name this time. Do not be confused by that. Anyway, 3 minutes. If you would like anything repeating, let me know. While you're getting those in, I can also give you a quick scoreboard update. It is a pretty tight week this week as it goes. Everything to play for in the wipeout round. Down at the bottom end of the draw, we have the Marauding Bloodlust on 41, Footlins on 40. Thank God Panic at the Tesco aren't playing on 44. Mid-table, the Midway Kings and Katrina and the Second Waves are neck and neck on 49. And in the lead after 2 rounds, the Lockdown Haircuts and Sounds a Bit Hippie to Me have 52. But perennial contenders, the World Health Organization, still aren't curing the virus, but they do have 53 points. Okay, time is up. That means I need you to hit submit, get those round 2 answers in, and let us roll straight on to the wipeout round. As our regulars know full well, in the wipeout round we giveth, but we also taketh away. We giveth by laying a trail through the answers. The last letter of every answer in the wipeout round is the first letter of the next answer. Strictly speaking, not including the very last question, because of course there is no next answer. And it does not wrap round to the beginning, although maybe it ought to. Maybe it does. Has anyone ever checked? That aside, if you get all 6 right, we will also give you a 2-point bonus. So there's up to 8 points available in the wipeout round. But be afraid. If you get a question wrong, not just leaving it blank, but actively wrong, you lose all of your wipeout round points. So, everything to win, a lot to lose. No point faffing around, because as ever, we are, after 10, running a little late. So, wipe out question 1. Or what term, from the Latin for not known or for unknown, refers to a person concealing their true identity? What term, from the Latin for not known or unknown, refers to a person concealing their true identity? Okay, wipe out question 2. If you still remember the days when you could go out on public transport, or indeed if you've been back out there spreading your spit around, maybe you can answer this. At which London Underground station did the Central, Bakerloo and Victoria Line underground lines converge? At which underground station do the Central, Bakerloo and Victoria lines converge? Okay, wipe out question 3. Who wrote the Adrian Mole book series? Not to be confused with The Wind in the Willows. Who wrote the Adrian Mole book series? On to wipe out question 4. Now, I'm going to have to be strict on the answer to this one, so I'm not going to accept an arts degree as the answer. The question is, what is the proper term for what is informally known as maths dyslexia or number blindness? What is the proper term for what is informally known as maths dyslexia or number blindness? Question 5, and those who were watching a couple of weeks ago will remember we had a problem with ligatures. Look, I can fix it. What specific type of animal was shot and killed by the Ancient Mariner in the poem by Samuel Taylor Coleridge? What specific type of animal was shot and killed? Seems uncalled for, doesn't it? By the ancient mariner in the poem by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. And the last question of another Quizcazoatl Publess Pub Quiz. Question 6. What short common verb can also be a noun, meaning the place in which a cathedral church stands, identified as the seat of authority of a bishop or archbishop? What short common verb can also be a noun, meaning the place in which a cathedral church stands, identified as the seat of authority of a bishop or archbishop? Okay. If you need any of that repeating, as normal, now is the time to tell me. Otherwise, I'm going to give you 3 minutes to get your Wipeout answers in. As regular viewers know, it takes the tubes a couple of minutes to catch up with us. So while that all comes through, I'm going to give you another example of Baz James tinkling his ever so tasteful ivories. And after that, once the answers have filtered through, we will mark round 2 in the Wipeout and announce this week's winner. Thank you very much, Baz. And thank you very much for everyone getting their answers in. We are now ready to go to the round 2 marking. So, let's see, let me put this silent guitar down. Don't know why that wasn't making a sound during the piano music there. Anagram. Your friend and mine, he's sex fun galore. It's Alex Ferguson. Point for Alex Ferguson. Question 2. What country is home to Asahi Lager? And that is Japan. Japan for the point there. On to question 3. We had some missing names. Who do we have? We had the unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. Then we had Dougie Hauser. We had Maisel. And finally, what was it? I guess the life and times of Reginald Perrin. 4 points available for Kimmy Schmidt, Dougie Hauser, Maisel, and Reginald Perrin. In the context of rocket fuel, what is LOX, L-O-X? That is liquid oxygen. Liquid oxygen. Question 5, we had a glass that holds 1.4 litres, 90 centimetres long, with a bulb at the bottom and a widening shaft, depending on which way you go down it, I suppose. That is a yard glass, or a yard of ale, equally. I think a few people have just put a yard, and that is fine by me. We then had some pictures. There are so many points for this question that it is genuinely difficult to read all the answers. First off, we had Jennifer Love Hewitt as Audrey Hepburn, and those lives did overlap. Jennifer Love Hewitt, born 79, Audrey Hepburn died in 93. Then we had Philip Seymour Hoffman as Truman Capote. Yes again, born 67, Philip Seymour Hoffman. Capote died in 84. Thence on to Sean Penn as Harvey Milk. That was another yes. Everyone's just lived long enough to see themselves, isn't that sweet? Penn born 60, Harvey Milk died 78. And finally, Helena Bonham Carter and Princess Margaret. And of course that is a yes, not even close. So 12 points in total, which with a bit of luck the answer sheets will finally accept if you enter it, if the team you're marking got them all right. So they were Jennifer Love Hewitt, Audrey Hepburn, yes. Philip Seymour Hoffman, Truman Capote, yes. Sean Penn, Harvey Milk, yes. Eleanor Bonham Carter and Princess Margaret, yes. Question 7. What F is a young bird that has left the nest but is dependent upon parental care and feeding? That is a fledgling. Fledgling there. On to the mystery voices. We had first Harry Maguire. Someone did just put football for that. Oh, for God's sake, still can't enter 12. I thought I fixed that. Eric, this is a known issue because when I set all this up, it never occurred to me that there would be more than 10 points for a question. If your answer sheet is not accepting 12 as an answer, just add it to the question before or the question answer. So give 10 points on question 6 and put the extra 2 onto question 5. With my apologies for the technical breakdown. And if you could tell me which number answer sheet you're doing, that would be useful, and I can try and make sure that one will work in future. A buggy feature, I think, is the word. Anyway, where were we? 3 mystery voices. We had Harry Maguire, Mr. Football himself. I'm afraid football probably doesn't warrant a point. Then Anne Hathaway. And finally, Mark Labbit, whoever that is. Harry Maguire, Anne Hathaway, and Mark Labbit for 3 points. Question 9. Truman Capote was yes. They were all yes for the overlapping lives. If there was any doubt on question 6. Yes, 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 as Churchill the dog would say. Alon has caught up with the discussion that we just had with Eric a moment ago. Alon, my apologies. I thought I had fixed... Oh, yes, that's what I've done. I fixed the data validation for question 5 on everyone's sheets, and it was actually question 6. My apologies. So this won't be working for anyone. Just give 2 points on 2 extra points on question 5. Certainly, Alon, don't be docking them from someone just because they're successful. No, sorry, Bob. Maybe next week that'll work for us. Apologies all. Anyway, where were we? Question 9. In motorsport, the drag is a slang for the street or roadway, anything that means something like street, road, roadway, for a point. Elob? Elob. You sound like the spider from Lord of the Rings now. All you have to do is get one of those spot prize questions and a t-shirt will be so close for you. It's so easy. You've just got to keep trying. You're going to get there eventually. Anyway, let's push through because we're getting distracted. 4 odd ones out. Jimmy got married. Jimmy did not get married. It turns out that Jimmy was gay and it was before they made gay marriage legal. Heartbreaking, isn't it? Jodie got married. Then Italy, no Rugby World Cup in Italy. The sculpin is a fish, and Sand or Saint Kesog is our other odd one out there. I see that we do have one answer has come through. 2 answers have come through for the Mayor of St Ives. 2 teams have put the Mayor of St Ives as Jonathan J.P. Pallant, friend of mine, the World Health Organization, and sounds a bit hippie to me. Of course, what you have failed to appreciate is that I was actually asking for the Mayor of St Ives in Cornwall, which is Tony Harris. Tony Harris was the answer that I was looking for. So I'm afraid I cannot give a bonus point for anyone who put down Jonathan J.P. Pallant as the Mayor of St Ives. My apologies for not being clearer on that one. Question 11. What is the common English name for the biblical character famously swallowed by a giant fish? And that was Jonah, or Jonas is also acceptable. Jonah or Jonas for the point. And question 12. Looking for words represented by just the 6 red letters in picture 11. We had British, as in British Petroleum, latterly Beyond Petroleum, but British was what we were after. Then density, as in medium density fiberboard. Then European, Central European time. Contained, self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. Ultimate, as in Ultimate Fighting Championship. And finally theft, as in Federation Against Copyright Theft. 6 points for British, density, European, contained, ultimate, and theft. Question 13. How many hurdles should each competitor jump in an Olympic 110-metre hurdles? That is 13. Elob, I think Dyscalculia was the villain in a Dracula spin-off, but I could be wrong. We'll get there shortly. Hang on a second. Why did I just say 13? How many... Oh, I was getting the question number mixed up with the answer there because I'm too busy trying to read my own comments. My apologies. It is, in fact, 10 hurdles in an Olympic 110-metre hurdles. Very poor form there. Well done, anyone who got it. No points for 13 for question 13. Question 14, we had 3 film clips. They were, first off, Jack Reacher. Does that mean that voice was Tom Cruise, I guess? Then The Karate Kid, and finally Ocean's 8. No point for any other number of oceans, I'm afraid. The lady voice should have been a right giveaway. Jack Reacher, The Karate Kid, and Ocean's 8 for 3 points. Sports people's surnames, question 15. We had Armstrong, McEnroe, Stokes, Van Dyke, not Van Dam, Schumacher and Owen. 6 points for Armstrong, McEnroe, Stokes, Van Dyke, Schumacher and Owen. I agree rather with Jess, who was looking for a point for The Beast as the title for Mark Labbit. I'm sure that he would like us to know his real name. I know him as The Beast, so half a point anyone who put The Beast instead of Mark Labbit. I didn't know who he was, I just didn't know the name when I said whoever that is. Silly me. And the best of the chasers, he is too, in my humble opinion. Anyway, let's see. Did I give the sports person's surnames the second time? Armstrong, McEnroe, Stokes, Van Dyke, Schumacher, Owen. 6 points. The currency in Greenland is the krone, the Danish krone, for a point. Question 17. We had some film title amalgamations. First off, we had, and there is 1 point for each amalgamation, so 4 points available here. We had The Dark Knight at the Museum. We had The Edge of Tomorrow Never Dies. We had The Italian Jobs. And we had In the Looper. 4 points for The Dark Knight at the Museum, Edge of Tomorrow Never Dies, The Italian Jobs, and In the Looper. Question 18. Diamonds are graded and categorised by 4 C's. They are colour, carat, cut, and clarity. There you go. As Lily Allen says, I heard people die while they're trying to find them. But once they've found them, they are judged for colour, carat, cut, and clarity for 4 points. Question 19. We have exact year for each of 4 time capsules. Now, we're not going to make you put these in the correct order. It's sort of a marginal chance of getting them mixed up and getting away with it, I suppose, but there you go. But the years I'm looking for are, in any order, 1972, 2017, 1991, and 1985. 4 points for 1972, 2017, 1991, and 1985. And finally, for round 2, covering area of 117 square miles, the Broads, or the Norfolk Broads if you prefer, are Britain's smallest national park area. Almost all of you were caught out on that one, including at least a few people who I know for a fact I've been on holiday to the Norfolk Broads with. But there you go. On to the wipeout round. Let's get this finished and let everyone go home, because we have broken through the 10:30 mark. My apologies. What term, the Latin for not known or unknown, refers to a person concealing their true identity, and that is incognito. Incognito for a point. At which London Underground station do the Central, Bakerloo and Victoria lines converge? And that is Oxford Circus. Oxford Circus for a point. I think everyone's got those two. Looks like everyone has also got who wrote the Adrian Mole book series? Sue Townsend. We'll give Townsend... Well, hang on a second, though. We do know... I see. That's why that team got it wrong. So someone put Oxford Street instead of Oxford Circus. I'm afraid you have wiped out Marauding Bloodlust. And that's why you didn't put Sue Townsend's first name. Anyway, on to question 4. The proper term for maths dyslexia or number blindness is dyscalculia. That's a tricky one to spell, and we have some dyslexics on the board. So anything that's a bit like dyscalculia shall be accepted there, including the vampiric dyscalculia. Question 5 on the wipeout. The animal shot and killed by the ancient mariner, much as doing this quiz is an albatross around my neck every Tuesday night, so the albatross was the albatross around the neck of the ancient mariner, for a point. And finally, question 6. We asked what common short verb, or what short common verb, can also be a noun, meaning the place in which a cathedral church stands. That is a see. S-E-E. I think pretty much everyone got that. One team missed out on the C. Anyway, fill those in. There are 2 bonus points for anyone who got all 6 answers, but that is automatic. If the team you're marking did wipe out, then change the toggles from no, they didn't wipe out to yes, they did wipe out, and shed a tiny tear for them as their points evaporate. Just while Google Sheets is working out what happened and telling me who our winner is tonight, there is a moment to remind you that we have been doing a incidental charity fundraiser for the Lewisham Food Bank. Between the questions and the t-shirts, we do invest a little bit of money and a quite extraordinary amount of time in doing the quiz. So if you are enjoying it, please do consider making a small donation to the Lewisham Food Bank. I am very proud to say we are already above £1,000 for the run. So thank you everyone who has donated to date. And of course, if you would rather make a donation to your own local food bank or indeed another charity of your choice, preferably not to the Conservative Party, but what you're going to do, then feel free to do that. The point is, spread a little Quizcazoatl love for us. Anyway, let me go and see whether we have all of the points through. It looks like we do, and that means that I can tell you that we have a very, very tight quiz this week. I'm probably going to have to go through and just check 4 answer sheets, I think, and make sure that the right team has been identified. However, after a wipeout on Oxford Street, I'm afraid Marauding Bloodlust fell at the last hurdle and come in 8th on 89 points, a little behind the Footlins, who caught up on a solid 8 on the wipeout. Into the peloton we have, thank God Panic at the Tesco aren't playing, on 102, and the Midway Kings on 105. That means that we have Sounds a Bit Hippie to Me, Katrina and the Second Waves, the World Health Organization and the Lockdown Haircuts vying for the top spot. In 4th, 111.5 for the Lockdown Haircuts. In 3rd, 112 for Sounds a Bit Hippie to Me. And in 1st place on 113, pipping 2nd place, who had 112.5, we have former winners, champions, and one of the many teams disappointed to miss out on the St. Ives bonus point by picking the wrong St. Ives. It was the World Health Organization. Well played, WHO. Katrina and the Second Waves. That is a very solid effort, and I will just quickly run through those answer sheets and see whether there's any errant points. But unless anything else is announced, the World Health Organization are this week's winners, and they will be invited to do their t-shirt question next week, which leaves me, as always, to say thank you for joining us. We are going to be running weekly through till the end of September, and then I think we're going to go fortnightly on into October. I can honestly say that we have been doing this a lot longer than we really anticipated in March, and most importantly, that Jane has had to design many, many more t-shirts than we anticipated, but very good t-shirts they are too. So it hasn't been a waste of time, has it? Anyway, stay safe, stay alert. Remember, the second phase does appear to be coming, so wear your masks, be sensible. We'll see you again, same